disturbing chat with manager that she was reporting to. She's talking about the fact he's moving out today. I won't be able to make it for work is what she says, because from all the beating, my body aches, my BP is low. Energy nahi bachi hai bed se uthne ki. You can well imagine the kind of physical abuse that Shraddha was undergoing. Also, she says, I need to make sure he moves out today. So it's not like she was suffering silently. So that sort of, in a way, also gives us an idea about her frame of mind. She was bold enough to at least try and make an attempt to throw him out of the house. She's trying to do that. Sincere apologies for the trouble I've caused you and the way this has impacted work. Need to make sure he moves out today. This is key. This speaks volumes of how Shraddha was trying to fight it out and was not really suffering silently is what we know from this conversation. Horror images of Shraddha's brutal assault have emerged now. An image from 2020 has emerged where Shraddha's face is bruised and battered. Cuts can be seen on the nose of Shraddha, bruised cheeks as well. Scratches were also seen on Shraddha's neck, and her eyes are also swollen. India Today accessed a 2020 medical report from Mumbai where Shraddha was hospitalized after severe back pain and spine injury that she suffered from. This medical report talks about it clearly. From that, it was suspected that Shraddha was assaulted by Aaftab. She also consulted a doctor in 2020 to whom she highlighted her depression as well as Aaftab's anger issues. We spoke exclusively to the doctor. Listen in. In fact, Dr. Kamna Chibbar, clinical psychologist, is now joining us. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Chibbar. I want to begin by asking you, there are just so many women, so many Shraddhas out there. Now we know from her conversations that she did in fact try to reach out to a lot of people to seek help and get rid of this man who was beating her up. What would your advice be to women undergoing domestic abuse? Many, seem to think that you need to go to the police station and do all of that, and are actually wary. There are many doors that can be opened for such women. Please do talk about them.
Absolutely, you're very right that of course there is the legal route, there is the route of going to the authorities, the police, but also at the same time what's very important, if you're a victim of domestic violence, you need to start talking about what is happening to you. One of the things which Shraddha was also doing, which is very evident in everything that is being talked about, is that he was trying to reach out to multiple people, and that help seeking is a very, very critical aspect, because taking care of yourself through such a situation is going to be very crucial in ensuring that you can also continue the process of being able to remove yourself from that situation of domestic violence that you're finding yourself in. So surrounding yourself with friends, with family members, peers, colleagues, anyone with whom you can share and interact and discuss what is going on and gather the right kind of help and support is crucial. And taking care of your mental health and well-being is going to be very critical as well. There are numerous helplines which are available where people can reach out, which is to take care of their own selves. And that is going to be something which is very, very important, because for an individual who's a victim of domestic violence, there is a significant impact on their confidence, on their self-belief. A lot of people can end up also harboring thoughts about, I've been in this relationship, I must keep continuing because this was a choice that I made. Or that if I will try and talk to someone, it may really not help and I will continue to be stuck in this cycle. But unless you will start talking and communicating and sharing what those experiences are, getting yourself out of that situation is going to be extremely difficult. So it's very crucial to start talking. Families, friends, peers, helplines, getting the right mental health support, the right kind of inputs and advice on that, besides talking to the authorities, so that you can inculcate the right kind of processes to be able to pull yourself out of that situation that you're finding yourself in.
Dr. Chibbar, I'm just presuming a situation. If, I just hope there are a lot of women who undergo domestic abuse come out of it. And in situation like Shraddha's also, when women do come out of it, what is the kind of therapy, what is the kind of counseling that all of you offer to women? And what is the, what's the kind of impact that this experience would have had on their minds, essentially?
See, any person who may have gone through domestic violence is very much going to be predisposed to probably developing mental health related illnesses, which could be impacting their sleep. So sleep related disturbances, things which could be impacting their moods, probably triggering aspects like depression, a lot of anxiety, probably panic like anxiousness as well. These would be the three primary aspects. And also for the person, when they start coming out of these situations, they can develop post-traumatic stress disorders, where you can end up having a lot of active visualization, thoughts about what was happening in the past. You keep re-experiencing those situations and you have vivid flashbacks about it, and it starts interfering and impacting your day-to-day life. If you find yourself having any of these kind of symptoms happening, it is very important to talk to a mental health expert. You reach a psychiatrist, you reach a psychologist. They would be the right people to be able to help you figure out what your next steps need to be. And when we in therapy are working with individuals, providing them counseling and support for overcoming the experiences that they've had, there are two or three aspects that we're looking at. One, of course, is the management of the mental health or the psychiatric um, illness which has come about. The second aspect is about restoring the individual's ability to be able to trust their own self, start developing that belief, that confidence that they can be okay, that they will be able to navigate situations of their life. Building or rebuilding that sense of self becomes a very, very critical component. The third aspect tends to be ensuring that whatever the trauma of the past is, you need to go through resolving that so that it does not have an impact on the future. For a lot of people, they can end up also carrying forward the trauma or the impact or the emotional aspect of what they have gone through, even into future situations, into other relationships. So working through and resolving those pieces is very crucial so that you can to be more fully functioning within the new relationships, within your new life, ensuring that you can develop the right kind of support systems around you, have the right kind of relationships, be
Yes.
more productive, live the kind of life that you would really want. So these three aspects would end up being very key when you're looking at doing counseling for someone who's been a victim of domestic violence.
You know, Dr. Kamna, I know a little premature to talk about this, but I have two quick questions to you. One is, why do you think, in spite of all of this happening in Bombay, in Mumbai in the year 2020 and 2021, Shraddha chooses to move cities, just leave that safety net and move cities with this one man who's been the #1 source of her agony. Also, I want to ask you, in this case, clearly things were dysfunctional at her home. Parents were not together. Father had disowned the child because of this interfaith relationship that he was unhappy about. How important is the safety net of your own family, not just friends? Because every friend that we have spoken to have come out and said, we knew, we told her, we warned her, we are there, get out of it, and she didn't.
No, absolutely. I think the family plays a very, very crucial role. You can have a lot of friends and colleagues around you, but the family in many ways can end up being very pivotal in ensuring that you're able to take those steps because they form that secure base for you since you're a young child as well. So having that family support is going to be very critical for most people. But that does not mean that other support systems cannot come into play as well. But it also depends upon what is the quality or the nature of those relationships. How strong are they? How intimate have they become over time? How much is the individual being able to confide, and how much belief do they have that people will actually be able to step up for them? So those aspects end up becoming very crucial when you're looking at someone from outside the family. But it's also going to be very hard to say that, what could have been specifically going on in Shraddha's mind individually that made her make the choices that she did. But if you were to look at it generally, for a lot of people who end up being victims of domestic violence, that belief reduces that you can actually pull yourself out of that situation. You feel very trapped emotionally, psychologically, physically within the situation that you're finding yourself in. Because there's also a lot of fear, a lot of angst around what has been going on. And you know how violent the person can become and how aggressive they can become. There's also fear at the back of the mind that if you do not go ahead and do certain things, which are being spoken of by the person, that you may end up finding yourself in another situation where there is greater violence surrounding you.
Yes, Dr.
So a
Chitra.
lot of those aspects could come up as well for the person, which may be preventing them from taking the step that they know they should,
Absolutely.
but they're just not able to go about doing it.